Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I'm bringing you another book versus episode video. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Vampire Breath, book versus episode. Yes, I know I'm holding an Attack of the Jack-o'-lantern sleeve, but if you turn it over on the back, it says Vampire Breath. So I'm going to be using this for the Vampire Breath episode for the video here. So the book, I reviewed this a while ago, really early on in my channel. And I gave the book a 4.1 out of 5. Very close to being a personal favorite, but one huge drawback for me in the book was Count Nightwing. And I gave it the Death Below score, a 4.1. It's an above average book. A lot of fun to be had. Could be one of my all-time favorites if things were different. But yeah. And then the episode, I gave a 3.2 out of 5. I think it's one of the more forgettable episodes. It's just not great. It's not spectacular. It's okay, decent at best. Not good, not bad. Not the same as the book at all in terms of how it resonated with me. So yeah, as you can tell, this is probably going to be a blowout for my preferences. But I make these videos to kind of compare and talk about what things I prefer. And maybe there might be one, maybe two things I appreciated in the episode that kind of match it. Or maybe I like it more than the book here for Vampire Breath. So in these book versus episode videos, I tend to run over characters. I tend to run over the overall plot, the atmosphere, aesthetics sometimes, if there's different aesthetics going on. And this, there's not really any different aesthetics, so I'm not going to be covering that. Then we go over the climax, and then we go over the twist and the ending itself. Right? Twist, ending, twist, climax. Sometimes the twist can be on the climax. Sometimes the twist can be on the ending. We're going to be discussing that, okay? So we're going to start off with characters since it's easy to digest. Let's start off with Freddy, the main character. So Freddy in the book is a single child, and he has a best friend named Kara. And in the episode, Freddy has a twin sister named Kara. And for the most part, I think Freddy feels the same. I think the actor in the episode did Freddy a good amount of justice. Wasn't the greatest actor at all either. But I think for how the story plays out for Freddy, given that Kara is not his sister, it feels more intimate for Freddy in the book. So I'm going to give the edge for Freddy overall to the book. I think Freddy had he had a lot more star power. It was more equally matched here in the episode. And plus the overall story doesn't exclusively matter to Freddy at the end as it matters to Freddy and Kara in the episode. So yeah, Freddy wins out in the book. Now Kara is essentially the same as well, give or take a few details. She's probably most well remembered for the twist at the ending of the book, what happens to her. But I think if I had a preference for Kara, I actually might give it to the episode here. I think Kara, the actress who played her, made Kara stand out more than she did in the book for me for some reason. From my memory, I don't remember Kara being that stand out. But in the episode, when I think about it, I think Kara is more prominent. Even though she's essentially the same character. I don't know. Maybe it's just the changes for a character being more of an important role, I guess, in the episode. So I'll give it to Kara for the episode. I'll let the episode win on that. And then, essentially, we can go over Freddy's parents. They're essentially the same, so I'm going to give them a deadlock, really. They're really absent throughout the whole thing. And then we have two other characters left. We have Gwendolin and Count Nightwing. Let's go over Gwendolin first. I think this is a runaway for me. In the episode, Gwendolin is quite fine. She has good payoff with Count Nightwing, like I brought up in my episode review. Her getting punished by Count Nightwing the way she did, I think I like better than the book. But I think Gwendolin's a lot more darker given the atmosphere of the book. And that scene in the tunnel where she surprises Kara and Freddy gets to me every time I think about it. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of Goosebumps that I've read before. I don't know what it is about it. I love it, and it's not really here in the episode. And Gwendolin feels a lot more darker in the book. which I like more. So I'm going to give the edge to Gwendolin to the book. Really well done in the book. Pretty solid job in the episode. I mean, it could be closer if she came across darker in the episode, but I'm just going to give it to the book here for Gwendolin. Now, Count Nightwing, I openly do not like this character. Both versions are whack to me. The book, he's just super repetitive and annoying. He has some interesting powers like flight, and the book kind of explores that. And I do like the atmosphere with his castle and kind of adding some lore and adventure to the story with him. So in terms of Count Nightwing, the book has a slighter edge than the episode, because the episode turns the story to a dungeon crawler, and there's like a dungeon catacomb vampire lair thing. But really, the actor, the performance doesn't really add anything to Count Nightwing. The dialogue is still cheesy and the same as the book. It has that, even that weird voiceover thing really gets to me when I think about this actor's performance. That's like one of the only things I can remember long term about this actor who played Count Nightwing, is that awful voiceover dub. Just how bad that looks in the episode. Really, he didn't improve Count Nightwing. The script didn't improve it. The episode's direction didn't improve the character at all either. And they both just kind of fall equal because they're both really lame. So I guess I'll give them a deadlock with a slight preference to the book because of the atmosphere. But yeah, Count Nightwing sucks. I'm sorry, he does. He sucks. He's literally the worst part of this story either way you go. So yeah. So that's it for characters. Let's get into the atmosphere. I've kind of already touched on this. The episode, it's more of a dungeon crawler, condensed, short story adaptation feeling set up to the Vampire Breath story. And the book feels more grander. There's time travel. There's a big vampire castle with like dark hallways and different rooms and windows and atmosphere. Like the atmosphere feels a lot more enriched in the book than the episode, even though the episode does try with the scenery and the set design, and I give huge praise to that. I really do. But in terms of atmosphere, I think the book wins out all day. The book is just way better. I dug the premise. The ability to have time travel with the vampire breath, I think, is cooler. Some people might think this getting rid of that element kind of simplifies the story. It might make it less confusing going the episode route, and I can totally understand that. I'm just not a fan of that, the way they did it. Now, I'm pretty sure if the book was more expansive, and let's say they went the dungeon crawler route, maybe it could have made it better. Maybe could have still used the same concept and done virtually the same thing. Not saying it couldn't happen, but I just really appreciate the atmosphere in the book, so I'm going to have to give it to the book here. Now let's get into Climax. The Climax, honestly, I don't really feel like I need to compare them because they're virtually the same. Give or take, I think it's the lead up to the Climax and how the Climax plays out is a little bit different, because in the episode, the kids still have to escape the dungeon after Count Nightwing gets the vampire breath. And there's no time travel involved. They just have to run up the tunnel, and they arrive to the twist, which is virtually the same to the book. However, the lead up to the twist in the book is very different. So Freddy and Kara have to search the castle for a long-lost vial of vampire breath that might be hidden in this room full of empty vials. And they have this big interaction with Count Nightwing. It's a lot more darker, a lot more tenser. And they find it, and they time travel back to the present day. So when it comes to Climax, they do differ, but the lead up to the twist is the same. So I guess it comes down to which setup to the twist I prefer, and I'm going to have to give it to the book. It just feels a lot cooler. The episode, like I said, just feels like a short story adaptation, condensed version, not spectacular, very basic. I mean, I'll pick the book any day over that. So yeah, book wins out on the Climax. Now the twist ending, this is known for an iconic twist ending. So I'm going to kind of loop both of them into one, the twist and the ending here. So the twist is virtually the same. It's when you find out the truth about Freddy in the book, and Freddy and Kara in the episode, but it's virtually the same. So for the twist part, there's two parts of this. For the twist part, I'll put about Deadlock. The discovery of the real identity of Count Nightwing, is or is he not a family member? That's answered in both versions, and it's answered the same. Now, the ending itself, in the book, it involves another different vial. They're searching around in the basement. There's another vial. And Kara finds the vial, and something may happen to Kara. As in the episode, oh my gosh, they have the corniest and cheesiest ending ever, where they're sent to their room, and let's just say they get to sleep like vampires in coffins, and there's really nothing scary about it. It's just cheesy for the sake of being cheesy. This is a runaway victory for the book here, so yeah, book wins out on the ending. The episode's just incredibly cheesy, and yeah, so yeah, for two parts, we got a two-parter here. They're tied on the twist, but the overall ending, the actual ending, goes to the book. So yeah, this is a runaway victory for one over the other, and if I had to pick which one is superior, Vampire Breath, the book or the episode, I think the book is superior by a long shot. And it's by a long shot. I'm not trying to take anything away from Ron Oliver in this episode. I just think it's one of the weaker episodes that he's ever done. It's not really it doesn't have to be a faithful adaptation to me, but it just feels a lot smaller in scale than the book. It just fails to capture what made the book special to me in the episode. What made the book special to me is the time travel bits, the exploration and the adventure side of Count Nightwing's castle. And the episode gets some other parts I enjoyed right, but it got a lot wrong. And that is just the magnitude and the scope of the story. Nerfing Gwendolin, Count Nightwing wasn't improved. It could have been better if they went the route of improving some characters, maybe improving some stakes. Maybe, just maybe, I would have liked this more. Even if they got rid of the time travel and the castle bit. But, yeah, the book easily wins. And, yeah, so that's my thoughts on the Vampire Breath stories, book versus episode. Let me know in the comment section, which one do you prefer for Vampire Breath? Do you prefer the book or the episode? I'm dying to know, and I'll see you next time.